Hi there, I'm Joey.
I'm Jacob.
And we are watching Star Trek for the first time. Last time on Star Trek, silicon-based life forms.
Woo!
It was fun. It was I mean, maybe not fun. People died. Like, a lot of people died.
A lot of people died.
But no, it was good. It was a really good episode.
I'd be very curious to know what the body count of that episode actually is.
Yeah, right? Today we're watching an episode called Errand of Mercy.
Errand of Mercy?
Yes.
That's interesting. I don't know.
Could be some kind of fun planet-wide thing.
That's what I'm thinking.
A really good, safety mission, whatever. Could be kind of fun. I do know something about this episode, much like how I do something about Space Seed. It was just something I happened to come across in researching for this series.
Something I know about when I see it?
Oh, definitely, yeah. It was, what's the best way to put it? Like, it was like, it showed up, and I was like, oh, wow, okay. But also, much like Space Seed, I don't know anything about, like, what this has to do with the episode, yeah. So I guess let's get into it. I'm pretty excited. We're getting into post-episode thoughts in a second. Be sure to join us then. We are about to watch Errand of Mercy. However, unlike Space Seed, the thing that I knew about this episode was like the first line of the episode.
Yeah, there was no hiding it.
Yeah, so we have just met the Klingons, which is a pretty big deal, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how often they show up in the original series.
I mean, based off how this episode ends, they might show up never again.
Yeah, who knows? I think isn't there a crew with a Klingon crew member at some point in one of the shows? Is it Next Generation?
I think it's Next Generation, which would be interesting because that would fit into the one line.
Well, yeah, they sort of foreshadow that as Captain Kirk meets another god. Like,
another god. We should have had a god counter.
Right, so many other things, and we haven't had a shirtless Shatner in like 16 episodes.
I know.
Like, my god.
There could have been so many better counts to
We started the worst running joke, apparently. Goddamn.
We really should have kept track of the gods.
Yeah. No McCoy this episode, which I find interesting.
Yeah, just none.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Probably, you know why? Probably because they like McCoy would land there with them, and he'd want to do a medical examination and find their bodies are essentially useless.
Yeah, they're just pure energy, apparently.
Yeah, so that's probably the reason, because you didn't have to explain why McCoy can't examine the bodies.
Or at least he could have been on the ship with Sulu and Ahura, you know. Also, we make Sulu captain while Kirk is gone, which I love.
Is he that rank? Is he the next rank?
I guess. I don't know. I've learned through these videos to not bring up questions of Star Trek rank, because apparently we just don't understand it.
I guess so. Listen, my understanding is Kirk's captain, and if he just croaked in an instant, Spock is captain.
Yeah. Well, Spock has been made captain a couple times already.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, so we meet the Klingons here, and I didn't know much about them. Hell, I only really vaguely know what they look like.
Exactly.
I know they don't usually look like this.
No.
I know they aren't potentially vaguely racist makeup jobs, typically.
I pointed out that this could be for a couple reasons. A, they didn't either think they were coming back.
Yeah.
Or B, I think, more importantly, the sets were expensive and they just had less budget to do.
I don't know. Star Trek usually has pretty good sets most of the time.
Yeah, but also, like, what we vaguely picture as a Klingon, imagine doing that to everybody.
Yeah, well, there also weren't that many of them. There were, like, there was Core, and there were, like, 5 or 6 others?
5 or 6 others. There's a shot where we see, like, 10 of them in like, military march.
Yeah.
So there's enough extras that, like, it would be kind of hard to give them expensive makeup jobs, I think.
Yeah. But I like what they are. I just like this just really, like, hardcore military race.
Like that.
And I like why they're here in this episode in particular with the Organians. Because they're such an advanced society, apparently, they want to like use their supplies and take their resources. Mm-hmm. So I really did like I'm kind of sad it was only like one small part of the episode, and then they just sort of like ignored it for the rest of it. Where Kirk destroys one of like the Klingon supply places.
Yeah,
and he's like, I'm going to do that to the whole planet. That way, the Klingons won't want to be here. And I like that idea. Like, I think that makes sense. I mean, given what the Organians are in the end, I mean, I guess that also makes sense as to why they denied it. But
right,
I don't know. It's weird. You know, this episode is kind of weird too.
Yeah.
I thought for sure, if for nothing else, it being the first Klingon appearance, it might appear on like one of our top 10 lists that we've been going through.
I think
it's not.
I think that's probably because if they're in the show later, it's for better plot. It's not this is a bad plot.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about it.
Yeah, it's very standard. I mean, I like Kor as a character. Kor's really cool.
Kor's, I liked watching Kor.
And Aelborn is just an agent of chaos. Like, yet another god that the Starship Enterprise comes across, and just is kind of like, okay, cool, more godlike beings exist in this universe. All right, we're just gonna move on now, you know?
Right. It's almost like every other Tuesday.
Yeah.
Let's set out another god, childlike figure. Sure, why not?
I did like the bit where the Organians wanted to like protect Kirk and Spock, and so they put them in these disguises. But I pointed out, I was like, they just stuck them in the same colors they were wearing before their uniforms. Kirk's still wearing yellow. Spock is still wearing blue. Spock is a little bit. He's got this little like cloak thing.
Yeah, but also, they're gods, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why not just beam them off the planet? They surely have that ability.
I think. Well, I guess the way it's played in the end is that Aelborn and the other god or Organians wanted them to like have this conflict and see why it's wrong. Because in the end, what they say is that, you know, we're gods, we can see the future or whatever. You guys you'll make peace someday. You know, this will not be a war. Which I like the idea of, and once again, like knowing that I'm pretty sure there's a Starfleet crew at some point that has a Klingon crew member, and so I like that idea, like, and I like that is like definitely not in the near future, but I like that it is eventually touched upon.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but okay, this is such a nitpick idea. But why? Okay, so they give them clothes, right?
Mm-hmm.
How are the clothes real when ideally nothing is? Like that seems to be the idea.
Apparently, the whole place is like pure energy, or at least the planet they built upon is pure energy.
Yeah, the whole planet is a fictional, right?
Yeah.
So how are there real clothes? Like once the Organians, I guess the planet doesn't disappear underneath them. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's the idea. Yeah.
This is just a small hole there, kind of a big hole, but
kind of a really big hole.
But you know, it's all right. Whatever. who can truly say the purpose of gods?
I mean, we'll probably be explained.
Yeah. So I did like the bit where also like, are all the Organians gods? Because there's a point in the episode where the Klingons kill like 200 Organians.
I took that to mean once the ruse was up, if you will, that they just didn't function as individuals.
Who didn't?
The people that we never saw.
The 200 ones that died?
Yeah.
So they were created by the other two Organians?
Yeah, I took that to mean that they were...
But they were still able to be killed.
I took that to mean they were a facsimile, much like the planet, that the Council created to create the illusion that this planet is like real and there's a population.
Okay, gotcha.
I personally, that's just my thought, obviously.
Yeah, definitely.
That the only real Organians are the Council of like 5.
Yeah. You kept joking throughout the episode that they're like, we have no leaders here, and like the whole time they're Kirk and Spock are with this high council of like 4 or 5 people.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, sure, no leaders, whatever, understood, makes sense.
Yeah, like it's at the beginning of the episode. They land. They're like, "Do you have any leaders?" He's like, "No, but there is a council of elders we could see."
Of which I'm on.
Right.
But there's this one bit that I've just found kind of weird. It's portrayed in like a funny way, where towards the end, to stop the Klingons and Kirk and Spock from fighting, the Organians like make everything like 300 degrees or whatever. Right. So they do it to like the room. They do it to the Enterprise as well. They do.
As if I understood it, they did it everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere in the universe where there could be anything potentially threatening.
No, not even threatening. They just said they made everything 300 degrees. I forget, didn't Spock say it was like, you know, ourselves as well?
Yeah, he said the bodies, the walls.
So that like Kirk and Kor couldn't even like touch each other.
Right, they couldn't like punch.
Yeah. They're just like circling around each other like animals at one point.
Yeah.
You know?
And they did that to like everything?
I guess.
Yeah, because he said like, I'm on your home planet of the Federation. I'm on your home planet of the Klingons.
Yeah. Weird. This whole episode was kind of weird.
Right.
But I liked it. I really did.
I thought it was good. I need to honestly think about how I feel about the outcome.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I said this to you as the episode ended. I was like, I'm gonna wait until we're talking about it.
Mm.
I have them some very, as I think, some very serious questions that need answering.
As such as?
Like, okay, they were going to war for perfectly legitimate reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Those reasons just don't disappear.
That's true, but also, I just kind of loved the whole thing of Kirk at the end. It's like, oh yeah, well, people need to figure things out for themselves. And I just, like, 3 episodes ago, we had Taste of Armageddon, and he just disregarded what other people wanted from a war, like, just because, like, he was able to do something about it, and it threatened his life. Like, that's a little hypocritical, I found.
Right. No, I mean, I understand the whole point of, you know, we're making everything 300 degrees until you talk idea.
Yeah.
But, like, those issues still have to be, like, handled.
Yeah.
They're not just disappearing, but the show treats it like those issues just disappeared.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how much more they appear in the original series. So maybe they will be touched upon.
I'd like to think so, but we'll see.
Yeah,
Honestly.
we shall see. So I guess that about does it. Be sure to join us next week when we continue Star Trek: The Original Series. We're nearing the end of season 1.
I know, it's
We have
weird.
We have 3 episodes left. So yeah, be sure to join us then. Until then, this has been Joey Morgan.
Jacob.
Goodbye.